In this video, we're going to discuss a couple of the list functions that's available to us. We're also going to be doing this in the Python window of ArcGIS Pro. And so what you're seeing on my screen is the window, and down at the bottom is the area that you type your code. The rest of this window you're going to see will be what I've typed and any results that occur. So the first function that we're going to talk about is called list feature. For example, if you have a database, a geodatabase, and you want to know what's in it, typically you have to open up your geoprocessing program, bring in that geodatabase, and then you can see what is in it inside the catalog feature. Well, this can be done inside of ArcGIS Pro, or can be done with your scripting program. It doesn't really matter. We're just showing you how to use the scripting program part of ArcGIS Pro, and that's why we're going to do it the way we're doing it in this video. So let's go down here and start. So I'm going to say from ArcPy import env. Typical type command we put in. We're working in an immediate mode, so it's immediately executed. And then for the workspace, it's going to be on my D drive. Notice I put quotation marks there. It's on my D drive, /. It's in my GIS, all caps here, GIS data folder. It's in Indiana, and it's in Clark for Clark County, and I'm going to go outside my parentheses and hit enter, and so that has been established. And I'm going to create a variable called feature, and I'm going to say it's going to be equal to ArcPy dot, in this new command, list feature classes, and then we're going to have a set of parentheses, and this set of parentheses we're going to leave empty, so it's going to list everything that is a feature class. I'm going to hit enter, and then we got to see what's there. So to see what's there, we need to give a print statement here, print feature outside the parentheses, and we're going to hit enter, and now we can see 5 shapefile names showing up here. But this was in a folder, it wasn't in a geodatabase, because if you notice, there's in the workspace path there is no geodatabase noted. It could have been a geodatabase. So we've got Clark, Clark Minor, Clark Boundary. We've got output 2A, output 2B, and output 3B. So those are what is in that folder. So very quickly I can see what's in a folder and work with it. So we're going to now show another methodology to use. Since my import environment statement's already there, we're going to keep that and not have to retype that. But we are going to change our workspace, and the pathway to the workspace that we're talking about is pretty long for me, so I'm going to go over to File Explorer. It's going to be off your screen, and I'm going to copy the pathway that I'm going to use, and then we'll make use of that. So we're going to come over here and put our workspace in just like before. But I am going to use what I have copied, and I need to put the geodatabase in that we're going to be working in. So it's in the KY1 geodatabase. So we've now defined a new environment. Again, we did not have to put in the from ArcPy import env because that was already there since we're working in immediate mode. And now we're going to use our feature list again. So we're going to call it feature again. And we're going to say equals argpy dot list feature. And it should show up in my list. So I'm just going to come up here and grab it. And I want to work inside the parentheses this time. And I want to see only those items that has IN in its name. That means it's from Indiana. And we put that in. So you can see the command that's been put in there. So we're looking at a wildcard, trying to find everything that's from Indiana. And then to see what's from Indiana in this geodatabase, we're going to say print feature, just like before. I'm going to hit enter. And you can notice that those all have IN in their names. And so therefore, we found only those items from Indiana. So if I had this database with items from all across the world, we could, using good naming convention, then search that database and find what we need to find. This second item that we're going to discuss in the list discussion is looking at the fields inside of a file. So if you've got ArcGIS Pro open, you can always look at the attribute table and go across the top and see all the fields, or you can look at the properties and see all the fields there. But if you're working outside of ArcGIS Pro, there's no real easy way to find out what fields are in a specific file. So we're going to show you how to do that with a new command. And so again, we've already imported the environment. We're not going to re-import the environment. We're going to set up the environment to be the exact same environment that we had in the previous one. So this line where we have D: GIS data, CIT underscore GIS underscore and so on. That's going to be the pathway. It's going to be in the same geodatabase. It's going to be KY1 geodatabase. So we're not going to have to type that all again because it's already been done once. And I'm going to start by assigning a variable field name list. It's going to be the name of my variable is equal to argpy. And our new command is list fields parenthesis, and we got to tell what feature class file we want to list the fields from, and I'm going to list it from a file called county. Notice here I've put my quotation marks around it. And then I'm going to use a looping command. I'm going to use the for loop. So for field in our variable field name list. Make sure I've got that typed the same. It looks to be the same. Colon at the end so that it indents properly. And then we're going to say print field. And we only want the name part of that field. So we specify that we only want the name of the field. And I'm going to hit enter once, but since this is a loop, it doesn't execute the loop until you hit an enter the second time. And we're going to hit enter again. And there you can see all the field headings, the attributes for this file called county. So without having to open any type of a mapping program, even though we're doing it inside of a mapping program, you could be in PyScripter instead, and you can be getting this type of information. It doesn't have to be done in immediate mode. It could be done as part of a full program. So what we've shown you and what we've done here could be in a full program instead of just in immediate mode like what we're showing. And again, it doesn't have to be inside ArcGIS Pro. It can be just inside your scripting editor.